Madam President.
Yes.
Welcome to Kanazawa and welcome to Japan.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
And thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to have interview with you, even though you're so busy.
No problem at all. I always make time for friends, and thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you so much. So today I would like to ask you about the question related to our slogan, mainly. So based on JCI Tokyo's 2017 slogan, splending the Japanese mind of what to the rest of the world, achieving Tokyo's full potential as an international city filled with virtue, all of our local organization action plan calls for first, raising people with a truly global perspective who spread the Japanese mind of what to the rest of the world. Second, promoting diversity management, and thereby transforming diversity into an organization asset. Third, bringing forth new values by establishing the JCI Tokyo brands. So questions for JCI present from me is for interview to be in the introduction to your 2017 JCI Plan of Action, you say JCI members will advocate and take action for peace. So could you please share your thought on the most important elements in achieving world peace?
I think the most important element in achieving world peace is for us to just see each other as individuals, to be able to take away the barriers, break down what, or forget about the differences and find the commonalities between us. So we don't see each other as an American and a Japanese, or an African and a South American, or a European versus an Asian, or black or white, or old or young, or whatever the differences is, but we take away all of those prejudices, and it's just Dawn and Mommy sitting, having a conversation, sharing a friendship, and just seeing each other as people. Because when we do that, then we can understand each other as individuals. We can have empathy for the situations of others, understand their circumstances, understand why they do things the way that they do. We may not always agree with the decisions that we make. We never agree with 100% of even our own best friends, decisions. But when we truly see each other as individuals, I think we can have honest conversations, and we can work towards a solution rather than fighting and arguing about it.
It's really interesting. I mean, it sounds really similar to our mind of what? Yeah, like respect others and collaborate together.
Yes.
Yeah, something like sounds very similar.
Yes.
So the communication is most important things for world peace.
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you. Second, what in your opinion are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of Japan or the Japanese people for being more international, like human resource?
Well, I think Japan is, in my opinion, is very good at being international. They have a very Japan as a country has a strong reputation worldwide, and certainly within JCI, JCI Japan also has a very strong reputation. As I think you know, JCI Japan is our largest national organization with 40,000 members. So, the work that JCI Japan does, the projects that you do, the way that you host Japan Academy every year to help prepare our incoming national presidents, our incoming leadership for the next upcoming years really speaks to the strength and the leadership that is here in Japan. And I think that's also one of the unique characteristics. The Japan Academy in particular, I think really showcases the diversity and the inclusion and the hospitality of Japan, because you bring the delegates, you bring the overseas delegates in, and with the homestay program, kind of immerse them in the Japanese culture, and in that way, you do break down some of those barriers that we just discussed in the previous question. And so when you share your Japanese hospitality with the world, I think you're really presenting that, extending that hand of friendship and really showcasing who JCI Japan is, but also just Japan as well.
It's like we really, good, like show, like give people warm hospitality.
Yes, very much.
This is like a kind of traditional culture we have had. And how about this weakness? But I know it's like a kind of difficult question, but we need to recognize our challenge for more global, to be more global.
I never want to think of anything as a weakness, but maybe a challenge or an opportunity. And I don't think it's anything to do with Japan specifically, but it's really all countries around the world. Let's talk about, like, for example, a language barrier. Particularly especially between JCI Japan and JCI USA. Most JCI Japan, or a lot of JCI Japan members don't speak English.
Yes.
And
exactly.
I don't hardly any JCI USA members speak Japanese, and sometimes we let that get in the way, and we let that be a barrier to sharing, to inclusion, and we just kind of stay in our own corners. We stay with our own people, we stay with our own friends, we stay where we're comfortable. But if we're willing to take a step outside of our comfort zone, and even if the only words are konnichiwa or arigatou gozaimasu, or
try to speak.
Yeah, good afternoon or thank you. It's just sometimes it's just those one or two words that can open up, and a smile, can open up a line of communication. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it's anything specific to Japan. I think that's a lesson for everybody around the world.
Right. It allows people to more easy to build friendship if we could do that.
Yeah. And I think it's a challenge for each of us too, though, because we're always very comfortable. We're comfortable with what we know, and we're uncomfortable with what we don't know. And so when we're faced with something we don't know, we tend to retreat into ourselves and retreat back to what's comfortable. And for us to grow as individuals, we have to continue to challenge ourselves. And even I forget that sometimes, because it's just easy to, to just, stay where we are. And so I also constantly have to remind myself that no, you have to move forward, we have to keep challenging ourselves.
Right. So you're like JCI person, so you have to communicate with many people from many different countries, right? So
yes.
So what do you think? What is the most important thing to communicate with those kind of different people from different countries, different cultures?
I think it's, in my experience, if you can communicate, even if you don't understand the words that somebody is speaking, you can understand their emotion in the mannerisms, in their tone of voice, in how passionately they speak about something. And so I think even if you're speaking a language or listening to a language you don't understand, if you can understand the mannerisms, and if we're just true to ourselves and express ourselves. I spent a week in French-speaking Africa, and I don't speak any French. I can say bonjour, I can say bon appetit, I can say au revoir, but I don't speak. I don't speak French at all, and so it was interesting because like when I'm in Japan, I usually have a translator or have to have a translator, but the warmth, the excitement, the intensity of of the African people, and their dedication to JCI came out, and I think that they felt that from me as well, even though we didn't speak the same language. And I find that here in Japan as well. Again, even though we don't speak the same language, I hope at least in some way I can form a connection with the JCI Japan members.
I think, I agree with you. Yeah, because I don't speak English very well, but
your English is very good.
But always in the conversation with you, I feel really comfortable, because of your mind, I think. Okay, let's move to the next question. For you, what is the importance of leadership? I believe the U.S. is much more diversity than Japan. So how do you manage the diversity and transform it into your organization?
So the importance of leadership in managing diversity, of course, I think comes to leading by example. And so as a leader, I think we have to try to do the things that we've already talked about, stepping outside of your comfort zone, being able to see people as individuals, find the commonalities between us instead of the differences. But when we talk about JCI and when we share JCI with others, I think our diversity is also one of our greatest strengths, not just in the U.S., but when we talk about it worldwide. And I think the same is here in Japan, that you can talk about the diversity of the fact that JCI is in 120 different countries. And despite all of the different cultures and languages, we're still all united under the belief of a better world, under the belief of our mission and our vision, that we can create positive change, we can engage young people, we do engage young people, and the next generation, the young people, the active citizens, are important and integral in forming the future of our communities. And as a leader, it's our, I think, responsibility and our obligation to see that, to see the potential in people, and to draw them in, to encourage them, and to celebrate the diversity, because diversity gives us flavors, I guess, makes it interesting. But in the space of diversity, you also have to find what's common. And during our January board meeting, I did an opening exercise with the board, and so we split up into 4 or 5 different groups, I don't remember, and made sure that they were all not from the same country, and from different areas as well. So you did not have all of the African Middle East team together, or all of the Asia Pacific team together, but that you had one vice president in each group, right? And so each group was a diverse people from all areas of the world. And I said, okay, so now you need to come up with a list of 10 things that are the same about you. Forget about what makes us different, but what's the same about you? And you can't use the fact that we're JCI members. You can't use the fact that we've traveled to the world, or all of these JCI things. And it was really interesting, the list that they came up with, because there really are so many things, despite our differences, that are the same. We love good food, we love music, we love movies. I think there were 3 of the groups that all said that they'd watched the movie The Titanic. And so it was really interesting and fun to hear that. Most of us have siblings, or maybe we either still have living grandparents, or all our grandparents are deceased. But those are things that unite us together when we look past the differences and overcome them.
It's really interesting activity.
Yeah, it was really a lot of fun, and especially in a group of people who don't know each other yet, because it was literally the very first day, the first session, of the January board meeting for the 2017 officers. So it was, yeah.
Oh, but that's like, I think it's really like the great things of JCI, like our network is very huge, and then it's great opportunity to see, to understand each other and mutual understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think those one of the great things for JCI is like something like that. I
Yeah.
think, yeah. Okay. Next question. What's your opinion on the JCI brand? How do you promote JCI and JCI brand to people who are unfamiliar with JCI?
So when I share JCI with non-JCI members, I tell them that we are a worldwide network of young active citizens, that we are a group of people from 5,000 communities, 120 different countries, and our young people care about the future of the world, and we work to unite all sectors of society together. To bring people together, to collaborate, to form solutions, to create impact and create those sustainable solutions. I talk to them about some of the projects that have been done worldwide and in certain countries, depending on where I am in the world. I try to share examples of relevant examples to the area of the world or the country of the world that I'm in. But everybody that I talk to about JCI is always very inspired and very interested and encouraged. And almost always I get the response back that says, yes, I believe that young people can change the world and will change the world. And yes, I believe that young people should be involved. And sometimes it's difficult getting that first meeting, getting that first appointment, being able to have the opportunity to share who we are. But when we do, when we share the emotion, when we share our own passion for the organization, because we all have a passion for the organization, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be serving the organization the way that we are. We wouldn't be in this organization for as many years as we are if we didn't love it and share the passion and see the opportunity. And I think when we share that from our heart, it comes across to people outside the organization, and they can see that as well. The one thing I think we have to be careful of is, again, we fall back into the things that we're familiar with. And in JCI, we have a lot of jargon. We have a lot of acronyms and words that only we understand.
Right.
And I catch myself doing it too. I'll fall back into JCI lingo per se, but we have to be conscious of that and talk in. We also have to talk in their language and talk to them on a level that they understand, in a conversation that they understand.
Right. Some potential members are surprised that they see the ceremony because a lot of jargons, and the ceremony is a little bit the kind of special sometimes. So they're like, oh, what kind of organization this is? So when they see the ceremony, our ceremony, some people say like that.
Yeah.
We need to be careful to use what kind of words, vocabulary, especially for potential members. Use something using.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, thank you. And the last question is: what is your impression of the female members of JCI Japan? May I ask what you consider to be the main challenge for Japanese people in embracing diversity?
Every female member that I have met in JCI Japan is a truly incredible woman. Every JCI female member I've met around the world is a truly incredible female. Every man that I've met in JCI Japan is a truly incredible man. We are all special and unique. And sometimes sometimes as women we forget that, and I think a lot of times we do it to ourselves. Sometimes as women we're more apt to tear each other down than build each other up. And particularly when we are the minority in a group, I think we need to go back to that. We need to encourage that supportive environment. But I think we also need to remember that it's not about being a man or a woman. It's about being ourselves, because we all have a passion. We all have a gift. And when we share that gift, whether we're a formal leader or an informal leader, we all have something that we can contribute, and that can make us shine. And it's our job as leaders, again, whether we're a man or a woman, to recognize that potential in people and to help develop it, help encourage it, and help it grow. And in that same way, I think, is the way that we also encourage diversity and inclusion, and celebrate diversity in when we, again, just go back to the fact that we see each other as individuals. It's not whether you're a man or a woman. It's not whether you're a new member or a senator. It's not whether you're a government leader or a business owner. It's just about who you are as a person. And if we can remember that, it's hard to remember that, and I'm still learning as well, how to just be me, because again, the world always has expectations, and we think the world has a certain box or a certain way that we're supposed to act, or a certain way that we're supposed to be. And when we try to fit ourselves inside this box, if it's not us, we're not gonna fit. We're never gonna fit inside that box. And we just have to be willing to say it's okay to just be me, even if I don't fit into the box, because whether I fit into the box or not, I still have something that's special and unique, and that I can contribute to the world.
And why I ask you this question is because mostly Japanese female members very hesitate to be leader. I think it's because of our traditional culture.
Sure.
But I really would like to, female members to be leader much more than now for the future. So, if I would appreciate it if you could, give our female members just a message for encourage them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to all of the female members out there, don't be afraid to be yourself. Just because you're not a man doesn't mean that you can't be a leader, or that you aren't important, or that you aren't special, or that you can't be a chapter president. You're a living example of that. Or you can't be a national officer, or you can't be national president, or you can't be an international officer. We've had just last year, JCI India had their first female national president, Rashri, who's your vice president this year, assigned to JCI Japan. And she's an incredible woman. She's very strong, but very passionate and very knowledgeable. And if she had, sat back or not taken the initiative, or not taken those steps, we as an organization wouldn't be able to benefit from her experience and her love for JCI and the experiences that she can share now with JCI Japan. So just to the female members out there, I just encourage them to be involved, to not be afraid to speak up, to not be afraid to just be themselves, because they're unique and special and have something to share.
Thank you so much. I think our female members now will get the motivation for being a leader. Okay, that's all of my question. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
This interview will allow us to learn a lot of things. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Good luck this year, and I know that you will accomplish great things, and that JCI Tokyo will be very strong under your leadership.
Thank you so much. Good luck to you.
Thank you.